Okay, so how about I demonstrate one and then you could try one. You want to do that?
Okay.
Okay, I have control?
You have control.
First of all, I did not anticipate that I was going to take control during any of these acrobatic maneuvers. So that was a surprise and a delight for me. I was a little bit nervous going into it.
Ed is one of Canada's favorite rock stars. He's also a pilot, and I've been friends with him since way before Flight Chops because all Canadians know each other.
I've started flying to all of my shows, and it's been a massive game changer for me. It's taken all the grind out of touring.
When he heard I'd rented a cottage with my family nearby, he invited me to keep the airplane in his hangar. And I gave him and his wife Nat a ride while the RB-14 was there.
I said to him, I like this, but I'm not sure how you like this.
But
This is fun for
then we did the hammerhead,
then the hammerhead.
and she liked it.
I like
Which
the
is the
hammerhead.
hammerhead is like the most intense one.
This was from early last season. I was in competition prep mode, and I appreciated having the airplane nearby so I could do a couple practice flights while on vacation.
Wow. And then I'm ready for the next figure because we're already at high speed.
Right. I don't need to do one of those.
No?
No.
This is such a pleasure to have your aircraft in my hangar up here. It's very exciting. I've watched so many hours of you on YouTube and Instagram, and we've been friends for a long time. So this is a really nice marriage of our two worlds.
So being on vacation, I really didn't want the pressure of making an episode here, but what we captured was worth sharing.
I get asked a lot about the flying part of my life, and I didn't want to just be posting everything on Bare Naked Ladies. We'd like to keep that music focused, and Bare Naked Pilot is just an account I created because I know a lot of BNL fans were interested in the aviation stuff, and I also have so many friends in the aviation world that I thought it would be cool for them to see the rock and roll integration of my flying.
I'll share more of Ed's aviation backstory shortly, but for now, I hadn't planned to film the flight to get here. But Evelyn captured a good example of an inspection pass while playing with some new gear that I was testing.
You can hold the camera and it's rolling, just whatever. Like just turn it around and explore it. Like look at it, it's like, oh, it's the Insta360, Ace Pro 2. I like that it makes a green bar on the monitor, see that?
Yeah.
That's something I've never seen before on an action cam. And there's no doubt that your audio is working. I like it.
It's so bumpy, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well just try to get some, but don't make yourself sick.
Okay.
You can hold it up and film the landing and just don't look at it if you want.
Okay.
It's gonna be a bit challenging. It's narrow, but it's paved.
So this is a private strip that doesn't have an official name, so I came up with a fun name for it.
Airport traffic, you got a yellow RV overhead. I'm gonna just cross over and then get into the right pattern for 2-3 and do an inspection pass. Airport traffic.
So I'm not sharing the exact location, but here we are on final.
Terrain, pull up.
Yeah, the computer has no idea that there's an airport here.
Pull up.
And this was my first time landing here, so it was kind of intimidating getting in there.
Pull up.
And it's actually runway 24, not 23. Ed was on the ground waiting for us and got this cool shot. I got low to clear any possible wildlife
Pull up.
and see how it felt below the tree line.
Yeah, it looks good. Wind is pretty much down the runway.
So it's a bit of a challenging approach into a narrow strip, but it's beautifully paved
Pull up.
and definitely long enough. Ed flies his SR-22 in here all the time.
All right, full flap selected. Gas undercarriage mixture props switches. I'm secure, you're secure. We're gonna land on this one unless I don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big illusion because of the trees and the hill here.
Yeah.
This is challenging from a visual perspective to set it up. Are you good?
Yes.
I brought it in as close as I could
Pull up.
to those tall trees and then tried to drop it down to make use of as much of the runway as I could. The wind was doing some interesting things below the tree line, and it really is a lot longer than I needed, and I had more energy than I probably should have, so a little bit of a skip here. But under the circumstances and at an unfamiliar airport with my daughter on board, I'm not going to complain about that one. A few days later, the weather was much nicer, so I was back for aerobatics with Ed and Nat.
I've been in F-18s, I rode with the snowbirds and did the full snowbird routine. So I've been in some pretty hairy acrobatic situations, but I've never flown, I've never taken control of a small aircraft like this. and run those maneuvers. So that was really cool.
Right on.
That was a great experience.
Glad to share it.
Being a gentleman, Ed sent Nat for her ride first.
It was a lot of fun to take your wife. Thank you for trusting me with that.
Yeah.
I felt a great deal of responsibility.
Well, she was super excited. She's got a lot of things on the list that she wants to try, and this was one of them. So she jumped at the chance to get upside down in your airplane.
Yeah, I've been working on that sweet spot where you get people to have fun, get them flying between figures, even if they're not pilots, put them in control.
Yeah,
And that usually gives their brain something to work on.
yeah.
It also lines up the eyes with the physicality of what they're doing, what they're feeling.
Do you want to take control for a bit on this climb, just to feel the airplane?
I've never done this before. My pilots never let me.
So look out, and then just try to keep the same amount of horizon. Wherever it's intersecting the cowl, just keep that.
And she really did survive through the whole menu. We did almost everything. The only thing we didn't do was a spin. Otherwise, we did loops, rolls.
All right, very cool. I'll take control for a second.
You can have it.
I have control. You probably don't typically see banks of this much, right?
No, God, no.
So we're just doing a little clearing turn, so we're just looking out for airplanes, see if anybody's here. Looks like it's all ours. We're pretty much already set for a loop if you're ready. You ready?
Yep, ready.
Okay, here we go. Then you go look at the wing, and then look straight ahead again to find the horizon. There it is. We're getting light in our seats. And then we'll get a little more G on the recovery. And there we are, level again. How's that?
That's your starter move?
Is that too much?
No.
She felt a little nauseous afterwards.
Okay.
Like she was a little woozy afterwards.
So we called it perfect then.
Yeah.
That's what you want. Because it's not fun to drive someone to that point where they're sick in the plane.
Yeah.
The speed is good, so I'm gonna do a little pitch up and then just roll it. You ready?
Yeah. Whoa. I like that better than that.
Okay.
We did a hammer, which I wasn't sure. I usually leave that to the end because that's the most G's, just because to get to the vertical, you kind of got to pull 4. She was like, I think that was a good one to end it on.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Okay, I'm fine with this, but I don't know how you like this.
I promised Nat she'd only be a small cameo in this episode, so we'll save the hammer for Ed's flight. But her reaction after landing was great.
Well, that was super fantastic. That hammerhead is the best one.
Right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I have a ton of flying experience, but not at those attitudes. But you're really good, imparting all the important information.
With that in mind, I do want to clarify, I'm not an instructor. I just really love sharing this stuff. I've been competing the past few years, so I'm getting more confident giving aerobatic rides. And again, I'm testing the Insta360 cameras for the first time, so I wasn't really planning on making an episode here anyway. But as is often the case, unplanned spontaneity tends to lead to great stuff.
I've got a lot of good instructors that have taught me how to manage people.
Yeah, this was about experiencing those maneuvers and experiencing what it might be like to, like you were assisting me on everything, on power, rudders.
But you got it. Like the loop was great.
And there we go. You can have control. You have control.
Okay, I have control.
So if you want to try that,
Okay.
I'll guard the stick. Just don't push when we're upside down. But you don't want to continue pulling, or we'll be too fast.
Okay.
Good to go whenever you're ready.
Okay, the pull?
Yep. More pull, more, right there. Hold that, hold it, and start reducing it. I forgot to tell you to look at the wing, but I think you did. Now look straight ahead, floating, keep floating. And good, perfect. Now get ready for the pull. A little more pull, a little more, right there. Wow. And recover, perfect. And you're right back where we started. That was a good one. It's hard when it's bumpy like this to get that right. I didn't really help it much except for getting you to be less shy with the pull.
Yeah.
Cool. Bring us back maybe to the area. See what I mean about how fast you leave the box? This is why, like, you can't, in competition, you can't take any time between figures or you're gone.
That's amazing.
You did the thing that a lot of people do with rolls where they stop early.
Yeah.
That's fine. You didn't pull upside down, which is the risk, right? If someone, when they're upside down, they pull, then they put you into a dive before you finish getting out of it.
Right.
And then it's kind of a situation where now we got to get to the closest horizon as soon as possible before we accelerate to V&E.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the risk. We briefed that, and that didn't happen, so that was cool.
The biggest risk here is that you pull or upside down, and then we end up in a high-speed dive. If that starts to happen, I'm gonna say I have control and I'll fix it. So that's the biggest risk.
Okay.
So I'm gonna help you not push or pull, so that shouldn't happen. That's why I say get there, park it, so there's no elevator, and then go. Don't try to blend it. Just like make sure you understand that you finish your pull, stop the pull, and then go.
Okay.
And don't be shy with the aileron because we're letting it fall naturally. We can't do a slow roll. Like we need to go fast, or we're gonna end up too much dive.
Okay.
You feeling good?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, I'm good to go if you're good to go.
I'm good to go.
Okay, so set a 20-degree pitch right there. Park it, all the aileron, whichever way. Go, all of it. Nice. No pull or push. Good. Not yet. There it is. Nice. And then recover. Yeah, so you were trying to recover a little bit early on that.
Okay.
It's natural, because it's a pretty weird sensation to be upside down.
Before we get into some more serious aerobatics, here's a bit of Ed's aviation backstory.
I've traveled to all of these cities 50 times over the last 40 years, and yet you still don't really know how they're connected. Because I do a show, I get on a tour bus, I have a fitful night of crappy sleep, and then I wake up in Charlotte, and I'm like, how is Charlotte related to Atlanta? Oh, Atlanta's the last place I played, but they've never connected for me. On these last couple of tours, I go to bed in the city I just played in, I get a good night's sleep, I wake up and go to the airport, and then fly myself to the next place I'm playing. And it's added this connective tissue between everything. And when I started flying years ago and tried to fly along with touring, it was a lot more stressful. I was in a 206 amphib with traditional gauges. It was just harder to flight plan, and my plane wasn't as capable. And now that the avionics suite is so integrated and flight planning is so intuitive and seamless, it doesn't add stress to my touring existence. I did all the flight plans for the 38-date tour in about 2.5 hours, one day before the tour.
Wow.
You know? And then I could adjust as I needed to change routes or even change airports. It's such an easy adjustment. The whole tour, I sort of considered that I had multiple outs. By the time I was getting to showtime, I'd have a really good idea of what the weather was next day. So I was either going the next day, going that night after the show if the weather looked better, or getting on the bus and riding on the bus and going back to get my plane on the next day off. That didn't happen at all this summer, wildly, but it did happen in the fall where just weather crapped out on me. So I left the plane in Kansas, went ahead, and then rented a car and drove back and got the plane somewhere. Like, I've got so many options that it just doesn't add stress.
And the instrument rating is obviously a huge game changer for that.
Yeah.
So how many years did you fly VFR Limited before you upgraded to instrument?
The first number of years that I was flying VFR, I often had an IFR pilot sitting right seat. Even though I wasn't IFR and I was PIC, I had an IFR pilot in with me, so we often went IFR and it was training for me. But yeah, now with this cockpit, FICI certified aircraft, 25,000 foot ceiling, integrated air, I just don't feel daunted. And I also I have so many other options. If I'm gonna get there on a tour bus if the plane's not gonna go. But the plane is also super capable.
Cool, yeah, that's the way I feel with what I've got. It's not quite as capable, but the avionics are there, the automation is there, and it makes life so less stress when you've got that much redundancy.
Yeah.
I've got onboard weather, you probably do as well. Do you use Sirius XM or what do you use?
Yeah, I use Sirius XM.
You basically know what the weather is way before you can get the ATIS.
Yeah.
So you can plan your approach way before, and then get the ATIS to confirm your plan.
Yeah, it's an absolute game changer, and that's the thing. Like, it used to be stressful to contemplate flying myself around on tour, and now it's only a joy. I've removed the grind and added flying time. It's amazing.
You want to do a spin?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll do one and then you can do one. Okay, I have control?
You have control.
I'm going to do competition entry only because it takes forever to decelerate. That's why they designed it, so typically they'll put a 45 line ahead of it, so you can lose all your energy in very little space. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to level this off, and then we'll just kind of do competition style entry. So it'll be 45, power comes off, and then coming off the line, and it should be ready to spin right here. Left, and we'll go 1.5, and then recover, and then there's my competition style recovery, all the power.
Wow.
And then I'm ready for the next figure because we're already at high speed.
Right. I don't need to do one of those.
No?
No. No.
Yeah, I was quite content to be the passenger on that maneuver.
We knew each other before I started Flight Chops. I don't even know if I sent you, like, how did you first find that? Did I send it to you or did you just stumble upon it? I can't even remember.
I'm pretty sure I stumbled upon it.
Yeah, okay.
I think I was pretty early in your Patreon
You were one of the first
supporters.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and longtime supporter, but also just a fan. I think it's great content for pilots and non-pilots alike. I'm sure you find that with your audience, right? Like if you have a lot of aviation experience, then your videos certainly have another level of depth to them, but I think they're just interesting for what they are. I really appreciated your video about the wake turbulence at City Center.
Yeah, that was an early one.
And I had that recently. And I think about your video every time I go out of there, and I've never had a bad experience hitting wake turbulence, and it just happened like a month ago, and it kicked me like way off axis on the climb out. It was not a good feeling.
If anything, why don't we get you doing some slow flight? Because if you haven't done spins in a while, I feel like you should.
My aircraft is not rated for spins.
I know. You're not going to do it on purpose, but let's get you feeling like what it feels like when it's going to let go.
You know what the spin recovery in a Cirrus is?
Yeah, I know. So let's just do some slow flight with you in control. So you take control.
Okay.
You have control.
I have control.
I'm going to get rid of the power, maintain the altitude. And I sorry I didn't brief you, but I saw you get your feet off the pedals. But yeah, I gave it all the rudder to enter it. Yeah, you don't have to do one, but let's get you into a sloppy slow flight scenario so you kind of understand like what it feels like when it might happen accidentally.
Right.
So I'm going to get rid of the power, hold the altitude. And if you want to hit this heading, it's fine. Okay, so get on those rudders, and now it's going to be all about rudder to keep that nose straight. The angle of attack is going to start barking at you as we get slow, and then we'll get into that regime of very slow flight. If it does go into a spin, I'll say I have control if you're not comfortable.
Okay.
So it's going to start barking at us shortly. I'll give you power and we'll stay in level flight. So keep that nose up. Keep it up. Here it comes. So it's going to start getting mushy. You're going to start feeling some buffeting. Just keep her there. She'll stay here. She'll stay here. She'll just talk to you. I'll give you a little bit of power.
Traffic, Bravo, November, Romeo.
Alright, so stay on those happy feet. It's all about your feet now. So you can see how hard it would be to get here in the pattern, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're base to final and it feels like this,
Yeah.
and this is why students will, or inexperienced pilots will get distracted. They'll try to make their turn and they'll give it too much inside rudder because their instructor has told them not to bank, right?
Right.
And remember, it's mostly about your feet. Mostly about your feet. There you go. Pick it up. Good job. There you go. Just remember the ailerons aren't going to help you much here.
Right.
So all your feet. This is how a Cirrus would feel if you got here.
Yeah.
It might not buffet this much because you've got that cutout in your wing, so the inside stalls first. Is that how that works? And the outside stalls last?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you probably wouldn't get as much buffeting, but the tail will start to do that. Good job, using your feet. That's it. So you went incipient there, but you saved it. So you sure you don't want to just let her spin and feel it?
No.
Okay, all right. Good job though, like you haven't lost it. So let's just let it stall and then you recover from the stall, okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna get rid of the power, just keep the nose up until it tells you it's done and then do the stall recovery.
Echo Victor,
You can have the power if you want.
No, you do the power.
Okay, I've got it. I mean, you didn't really get there, but that's fine. So we're already recovered.
Yeah.
That's it. You still have control. Okay, so bring us back. We were only going like 60 knots there for a while.
Yeah.
Good job. When was the last time you kind of did that sort of stuff?
Long time ago.
I think it's good to practice that kind of stuff.
I agree.
Yeah.
It was really cool to get in the RV14 with the kind of avionics suite that you have. It's kind of the perfect marriage of a simple, stable, bulletproof platform with a super modern avionics suite. That's what you can do. That is really interesting to me, the way you can customize your panel. I watched the episode about the battery change you made, and I just think all of that's super interesting. It's very prohibitive when you have a Cirrus aircraft. I can't do any modifications.
And as promised, my favorite figure, the Hammerhead.
Okay, so you're going to feel like you're sliding at your seat when we're vertical just because the angle of the seats. And we're going to look at our wing when we're vertical. Okay. When I kick, if you want to look left, because we're going to go left, but on the way up, you might as well look right at your wing. Okay, you ready to go? Yeah. So it's a pretty good pull to get to the vertical. Okay, so there's the vertical. Feeling light. Waiting for the buffet. There it is. Oh, the rudder. Oh, the aileron. Point to the ground, using rudder to keep that straight. And then go. And then we should be at about 160.
Amazing.
Alright, you have control?
I have control. I don't need to do one of those. I like being the passenger on those maneuvers.
Sure.
Stay tuned for more aerobatic content. I'll be sharing some of the competitions I flew, as well as the IFR cross-country flights to get to them. And until then, keep your flight chops sharp.
I didn't know if we would get to that, but she seemed like she was doing pretty well, so we gotta do a hammer before we go back.
Awesome.
I tried to put it right there.
Yeah, you did. It was awesome.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I went to
I've
6,000.
been wanting to do this for a really long time,
Okay.
and now I feel like I don't ever need to do it again.
Fair enough.
No, in like the best possible way. It's
Okay.
like,
Check.
check.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.